California knows how to party. The homeless California. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the JStation podcast. My name is Joe.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jamie.
We are 3 content creators from the UK. Jamie.
Joe. What's your beef, bro? What's your beef?
My beef is this. If you won the lottery tonight, would you continue this content creation growth tomorrow?
No.
You just straight give it up.
What? Oh, man. Harsh. It's good to know what we mean so much to you, Jamie.
If I won the lottery tomorrow, would I carry on with this? Yeah.
Say, okay.
As long as we can pay to boot Jimmy out.
I'm not.
Can we buy him out?
We're not going to go stupid Euro millions kind of money. We're talking, say, 5 million.
That's quite a lot.
There's a lot of money.
Quite a lot of money.
It's not 100 million, but it's, you know.
It would enable me to buy us a studio, which would be pretty good.
Oh, man, that'd be huge.
Get one built, maybe.
Yeah.
Or custom built.
Yeah, if you've got £5 million, you're custom building a studio. You're not buying an existing one.
But surely you've got to spend a fair chunk of that on yourself first, and then I guess whatever's left over would go towards a J3 studio.
A good chunk of it would go towards building a house, yeah. Oh my God, I'd have like 2 building projects going at once. I'm not okay with this. I'd quit my job.
5 mils already gone.
Quit my job, build a house and a studio at the same time. Hate myself until they're both completed, and then carry on with content.
Wait. You'd hate yourself, why? Is it because you're spending all the money, or because you're going to be building it yourself?
Because the process of building any buildings is stressful as hell. Have you seen Grand Designs, Jimmy? Have you seen Grand Designs?
I imagine that's true, but there's usually a difference between winning the lottery to build a house and saving for many years to get it the way you want it. I feel like it's more stressful doing it the way they do it than just winning money.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I'd have a lot of budget to move money around if I couldn't afford something. But like, well, it doesn't matter. I've got £5 million in the bank that I can just... Yeah, I guess it would be less stress, and I could just pay other people to do it for me rather than go through the whole process myself, I suppose.
So you would...
I think it's the project managing bit that's the worst bit.
Sorry, Jim, what was you going to say?
I was going to say, Grand Designs isn't like a show that bullshits around money either. It's not exactly like the people who go on there like, oh, I used to be a hamster trainer full time, and I have £5 million to spend to build this house. Like, you know, like they know exactly what project they're getting in on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they don't help out either. They're literally just there to observe. It's great.
Yeah.
The people are like, oh, yeah, we haven't got the budget to be able to afford the such and such that we were making. And they're just like, oh.
Quite often, they have just enough to build what they're going to build, and quite often go over their budget. So.
Oh, yeah, always.
Yeah, I imagine if you've got 5 million, you probably wouldn't have those worries too much. I'll have a go over by 10 grand. That really doesn't make a dent. Not too much.
Drop in the ocean.
I'll be all right. What about you, Jimmy?
What, would I carry on with content creation?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I would.
But would you do it like to try and grow the channel, grow the platform, or would you just be doing it for fun?
I'd probably be on the same lines as Jamie. I'd want to like sort of give us a space where we can, you know, we can give it the old college try. We have 5 million to fall back on, I guess.
Yeah.
we can take a lot more risks. We can, you know, put our jobs on hold for a year or 2 if we really wanted to, just sort of really give it a crack. Worst case, we just like sell it all at the end and then go back to our normal lives. But
sorry, Jimmy, I just want to interject there. I believe you mean give it a scud.
Oh yeah, give it a scud. Sorry.
Better.
Give it the old college scud, and then it all fails, and you know the money's gone down the drain, and we got 2 new followers. At least we can go back to work the next day and be like, oh, how was your time off? And you'd be like, I don't want to talk about it.
5 million well spent, baby.
We're not saying 2 new followers is a bad thing, by the way. Just maybe over 2 years, it's probably not the growth we wanted.
No, 2 years and £5 million.
I think what I'd also do with it is hire someone or multiple people. That's not a word. Multiple people. Like someone that could just do all of our YouTube content for us. Someone that could be a graphic designer for us.
Oh, do you mean
like,
editing?
do all the marketing stuff. Yeah, I think it would be so much easier to have other people do that, because then we can focus on the actual content creation rather than like all
that's the high-end YouTube meta now, isn't it?
Extra bits. Yeah, it is. Yeah, quite a lot of, I think almost every like popular YouTuber has someone that does their editing for them. which most of the time ends up being another YouTuber, which is weird.
Yep.
But
they're always a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber as well, and then like a full-time editor for these guys, because like the high-end YouTubers will pay them, very well to sort of pursue that hobby and dream of theirs.
The thing is, for me, I actually enjoy editing our videos. And I feel like if I had 5 million in the bank and I didn't have to work anymore, I could actually sit down and take a proper course on editing and probably get good at it.
Depends how much like content we'd obviously ramp up how much content we're making, but Jamie's got a good point of obviously like having a helping hand to do it, because if we do that, we'll end up getting too much content that we can edit and get out in time.
Oh yeah. If we'll be full time. If we're doing it full time, like recording something every day and then streaming every evening, and I don't know how it'd go. Yeah, we'd even though there are 3 of us to share the load between, we'd probably run out of time real quick. But I'm glad you're on the same page. Both your answers because I kind of thought about it a little bit before we started the podcast, because I was thinking about questions. I was like, this sounds like a good question. This is kind of what I think I'm going to do. And then, you both had sort of a similar train of thought to what I had.
Could have been worse. Could have been like, nah, just walk off. Derail it.
Yeah.
Completely. Start my own project. Kick you guys out the band.
Spend 5 million on myself. Let the other 2 just get on with it.
Start up J1 channel.
J1.
I'll go like full Mr. Beast content and just be like, I buy my friends a Lamborghini, and I'll just drive it through your front wall or something like that. Enjoy your new car, nerds! And then made the thumbnail just have like, I don't know, £500,000 worth of damages. So everyone
He's
clicks
bought
on
you
the
a 40
thumbnail.
grand car, but cost you 150 grand in repairs. That Jimmy.
Oh, what's he like?
Like, I would, like, don't get me wrong, I'd love it if you bought me a Lamborghini or something if you won the 5 million, but could you also cover the insurance? Because I can't afford that shit.
That's a good point. Do they do that? Do people that buy the cars also cover the insurance?
They have to, surely. Like, holy fuck. Like, can you imagine just like, oh, I want to change my insurance. Oh, what have you got? I got like a Peugeot 206. All right, and what's your new car? And you'd be like, it's a Lamborghini. No, stop messing. No, I'm being serious.
Yeah. What an upgrade path. Peugeot 206 to a Lamborghini.
They'd hang up on you, I'm sure. There's no way they'd take you seriously. You'd have to put it down in writing, take pictures and stuff.
They'd be like, well, sell your Peugeot 206 about 10 times over, then you might be able to afford the insurance for this new car of yours.
Even if I did win 5 million, right? Let's say hypothetically J3 wasn't a thing, and the only person I had to worry about was like myself and like my family. I still wouldn't like buy myself a Lambo. I'd still go quite modest with the car, I think.
Yeah.
Because I just really want a Mustang. That's all I want.
Tesla.
I just want a Mustang.
Oh, Jimmy would go Tesla.
Yeah, Teslas are good.
I think that's me. I like the comforts. I'll happily go for something with all the gadgets and gizmos. Won't really worry too much about the horsepower. Yeah. It'd be nice to have some of it, but I won't go for it all.
Yeah, I'm not really too fussed about having a, like... I feel like if I owned a Lambo, it'd look well obnoxious, and I don't like the idea of that. I'm obnoxious enough as it is. I don't want to increase it by having a car like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I like to think I wouldn't live life to an excess. I'd like to still think I'd live my life in the means that I live now. Just, every now and then I could be like,
yeah,
I'm going to get takeaway and not feel bad about it.
If I know you as well as I think I know you, you win the lottery, get 5 mil, and you're like, right, Loot Crate.
Gonna get that year subscription, boy.
It's just such a Jimmy thing to do.
I didn't get what I want in this Loot Crate. I better buy another one.
Tell me I'm wrong and mean it.
I mean, I can get the anime and the gaming Loot Crate and the regular Loot Crate that will do all pop culture references. I mean,
nice.
And when they do the special Loot Crates in between the Loot Crates, I'll be able to buy them as well. I'd have to buy a new house just for Loot Crates.
Okay, so this is going out of hand now. Jimmy is just spending all of his 5 million.
The Tat House.
Yeah, one house for show, one house for collections.
Some people have a house for shoes, and you've got one for fucking Loot Crate items.
I'm a walking
and pop
wardrobe,
vinyls.
Actually.
And Keyblades, that's what it'll be. Loot Crate, pop vinyls, and Keyblades.
I thought you said Beyblades. They haven't been a thing in a while.
And maybe Beyblades too.
Beyblade is still going, isn't it? It's not dead yet.
Is it? Where?
Dead game, Jim. Dead game.
Dead game. Playing that dead game this week. It's not a dead game, no.
I feel like I've had a slight echo on this whole time.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you like, favourite, and subscribe if you can hear Joe's echo. If you can't, do it anyway.
Not really sure what else I'd do with the money. Except, I guess I'd pay off my sister's mortgage.
Oh.
That would be like a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. I'd put like a certain amount aside to help family and friends.
I might, I guess, just turn to my mum and be like, well, like my family in general, and just be like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? And I will buy it for you. And then my mum would just be like, I just want you to leave me alone. I'd be like, I can't buy that, mum.
I think it's technically better to buy them something as well, as opposed to giving them money, because I think there is a such thing as gift tax on lotteries. Like, people, you have to pay a tax on that. Well, I'm sure people don't, but...
Well, that's bullshit. I drip feed it to my mum £1 a day.
Yeah, if you buy them something, it's fine.
Remember, if you win the 5 million lottery as well, don't take the little, but we'll give you $100,000 a month, and after 20 years you'll have all the money. It's not worth it. Get the lump sum. You'll make more money on the interest. Bam.
Is that
Learned
something
from
they
a
do?
movie.
Or offer?
Yeah. It's been more popular now. Or you'll even see dedicated draws for it. And they'll be like, oh, if you win this week's lottery, you can win £10,000 a week for the rest of your life. Or you can win 75 million. It's just like...
Oh, yeah.
They try to make it...
That's a different draw, though.
actually...
That one's got better odds. So I can understand that. But if you won the 5 million jackpot...
give you the option.
Yeah. I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, they'll
You
try to
can't
give
really
you an
do
option.
that much with £10,000 a month.
Oh,
Not
I don't
really.
know.
Like, because say you wanted to save up for like a house deposit or something, it'd still take you a few months to even get like to the figure that you want. Say you had nothing, then you get 10,000 a month. Okay, if it's a week, then I guess that's all right. But
No, it's a month.
£40,000 a month is still, it's just not that much. Like, if in the obviously to some people it is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. It still take you a while to get the things that you would want. So I'd rather just have the lump sum and then spunk it and then blame myself for it afterwards.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get yourself a nice big house straight away like you could with all of the other jackpots.
Yeah.
Your savings wouldn't give you much back either for a long time. You'd be waiting years to be able to get like a healthy interest that you could live off.
But
yeah,
I do suspect that when you go to a bank and say, I'd like a mortgage, and say that I've just won the £10,000 a month jackpot, they'll go, yeah, sure, take whatever mortgage you want.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good question, because normally they base it off of salary, like income. Can you class that as like as income?
It is
household income?
It's coming.
I guess it's
when you fill out the forms.
It's coming
it
in.
says lottery winnings.
Really? I don't remember
yeah.
that.
I had it on mine. It was just like income, like gifts, lottery winnings, gambling winnings was one of them as well, and then
well then,
like other as well. You fill out the other form. But yeah, I wouldn't, because you'd have to carry on working as well. It's not quite enough to quit your job to get £10,000 a month.
Well, what are you earning at your current job? Not that.
I was going to say.
I'd be living better, but at the same time, I don't know.
What?
Actually, yeah.
No, you're earning.
No, what am I on about? I'm going crazy. I'm back to like thinking that I was making how much I make a week, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. No, I'm completely
You're essentially
wrong.
making
I could quit my job.
120k a year, which is a pretty tidy sum.
Please forgive me. I was completely wrong.
And remember, you're not paying tax on to this 10 grand as well.
No, it's just a clean 5-digit number every month.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah.
It's really good. And I think there's one less number you have to guess on that particular lottery than the national lottery.
Oh, is that how it works?
I think, well, because the payout isn't as much, but yeah, the odds are slightly better.
Couldn't you just like take the lump sum and then just drip feed yourself 10 grand
a month
instead?
You could. And then the interest would probably bring it all back anyway.
Well, okay, let's do some maths here. 10 grand a month for 30 years. How much does that add up to?
We're one of them podcasts.
This derailed so fast. We not even wrote this down. We have like a whole podcast planned for you guys. It was just like, no, we're talking about winning the
when
fucking
does it ever
lottery.
fucking matter what we've written down?
Okay, so
last week was pretty close.
The 10 grand a month for 30 years equates to 3.6 million. So our 5 million's already more than that. So you could give yourself more than 10 grand a month if you win the 5 million
Hot
jackpot.
dog.
There you go.
Nice.
Look, we did the work for you. I know someone, if anyone is ever going to comment on this and go, oh, but actually it's not quite how it works because you have to consider like lump sum tax and everything. Shut up. We're taking the lump sum. We did all the hard maths for you. We put 30 grand into a calculator and timed it by 30 years.
It's all hypothetical. Fuck you.
I'm pretty sure there isn't a tax for that.
Well, that's why they always be like, oh, you can have 10 grand tax free, or you can win £5 million. And they're not so forthcoming on the tax bit on the lump sum.
I feel like we don't pay tax on it, but I'm pretty sure America does, because I'm sure on like American game shows and stuff, you do get tax. Like if you won a car, you'd have to pay the tax on it. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I remember now, because when I used to go to Vegas, if you go to Vegas and you're like not a US national, you get 100% of your winnings. But like you said, if you are American, then you have to pay tax on your winnings, which is a bit pretty corrupt when you think about it. You put your own money down in hopes of winning more, and then you have to pay the government because you've done it.
Good times. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't have to do
times.
that in the UK on the National Lottery or Euro Millions. But they still take tax on like what we were saying earlier. For like, if you were to give someone money, they have to pay tax on the gift, which sucks.
Speaking of taxes and money, it's a very vague segue into I guess our actually planned section.
Our second topic of the day.
Any of you that remembers last week's episode, we were talking about retail stories, and we were hoping that some of you guys could enlighten us with some of your own weird stories. I think I originally said like ones where you're a customer, but we've gone, fuck that. We'll just get all the stories in from like stories. Whether you were. We feel like the stories from being a employee at a place would be better than being a customer. And we have had a few of you write to us, and one of you has also sent us a big old voice clip of a story. So we're going to go through and read some out, and then I think we'll end on the voice one, because I think it's going to be one of the best ones. And Jimmy hasn't heard it yet, so it'll be even tastier.
We're totally mailing this one in, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to listen to it, so I listened to it anyway. I'm sorry, but I'd still like it.
You can enjoy my virgin reaction at least.
Yes.
Your virgin reaction.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Right. Let's get into this. Jamie, are you reading these?
I thought we could take some turns in reading them.
Are we bringing them up on screen for all the listeners?
Bring them up on screen, babe. I can start with the shortest ones. We went onto Discord, Twitter, and like our socials just to see if we could get some of you to send some stories in. And the first ones are RocketmanLuke gave us 2 very short stories. So I worked at Tesco in my college days, and when customers asked me to look for things out the back that weren't on the shelf, I used to just literally stand the other side of the door and not look, because I'm an asshole. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that literally everyone that works in retail has done that.
Been there.
Because I definitely did.
Yep.
Toys R Us was the worst for that, because obviously people want toys for their kids for their birthdays and Christmas and stuff, and if you don't have it, they just don't believe you until you produce this toy out of thin air.
Actually, I can't say I have done that. I probably... No, because I never worked in a place that sells stuff off a shelf, but I've worked at the cinema where I'm pretty sure I've gone out the back and pretended to do something for a customer, but just stood there and looked at my phone and came back.
We've all been guilty of that. I used to work in a big green supermarket. That's not Waitrose. And and yeah, did the exact same thing, to be like, oh, this toy's come out. I want it for my son Timmy for his birthday, and be like, we haven't got it. I know we haven't got it. I work here like 7 days a week because it's a supermarket and you don't get days off. And they're like, oh, can you just go over and look at the back? And you're like, yeah, all right. Then you go sit there and check your phone, reply to any messages. And you're like, oh yeah, sorry, I really looked. I couldn't find it. I moved pallets around. Like, you proper sell the story.
Yeah. Hurt my leg.
So if I took a trip, man. I took a trip. I went all the way up to HQ just now. Next one from Luke. I'm going to have to put the accent on for this, because if I read it in my accent, it won't make sense. I also encountered a woman from up north, and she was looking for hot sauce. So I spent 10 minutes showing her all the hot sauce until her husband piped up and went, no hot sauce, like gravy. It took me a couple of reads to get it. And then when I read hot sauce in a northern accent, I was like, oh shit. I enjoyed that one. It's
incredible.
Goodie. Yeah. He has put us a little note at the bottom, said we actually laughed together, so it was a nice interaction.
That's good.
So it was good that they took it in good stead.
I'd have gone so red. I've been like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Just full on embarrassment.
See, I'm pretty sure I've had encounters like that where I've misheard something and started talking about something completely different, in retail. I can't remember any off the top of my head. I'm sure it's happened.
I remember it's the same but different. It was during when I had my interview for Cineworld, and someone was in my group, and we were told to sell and we were given 3 films. It was like Minions, Fast and Furious, and I don't know, a shooter film that's an 18. It was just like, sell this film to this like family, and they said to the woman doing the interview, like the woman being interviewed, they're like, oh yeah, I'm come to watch a film with my 5-year-old. What film would you recommend? It's like Fast and Furious. This is like, you got no kids film? Nope, you should go watch Fast and Furious.
Really pushing that hard sell.
Yeah. Just like completely misinterpreting the question. which is probably not even the same and different. I just wanted to tell that story. Carry on, Jamie.
That's all right. I kind of had actually, no, it wasn't me mishearing a customer. It was the customer getting tongue-tied when asking for something at concessions at the cinema. And this one always makes me laugh. They asked for some salted cock porn.
Nice. Did you give them some?
I didn't have any on me. Which is unlike me, but yeah.
Got it.
Is it... I've never heard of salted cock porn. Is it something you normally keep in your pocket, or like...
Sometimes.
Okay. Is it like pocket sand where you can just like give it to the customer?
I can give it to the customer, for sure.
So next one's from Coods. I don't know. So it's Koodadooski. I'm unsure what store Koodadooski actually works in, but I feel like it's possibly either like a charity shop or a thrift shop, something like that.
I think it's a second-hand shop. I think they buy and sell.
Okay, cool. Because that puts this into context. And he's written a list of things that people have tried to sell in their store. And I haven't read this list yet, but I'm excited about it. So number 1, their family recipes. That is quality. That is incredible. Imagine having the fucking gumption. Number 2, hospital bedpans, an interesting one. Number 3, literally just wood. Number 4, some old porn magazines. Number 5 is car parts, which is an odd thing to try and sell to somewhere that has nothing to do with cars. Number 6, plastic bottles, just like Gatorade and stuff. I wonder if they thought that maybe they could like get some money and you can recycle it or something. I don't know. Number 7, mostly dead plants.
I'm so glad you said plants. Mostly dead people. He's not quite dead yet.
But he's second hand.
He could do a few jobs around the house.
It's like Monty Python, where it's just like, I can't take him, he's not dead. Hang on. Back. Go on. All right then.
Thanks, mate. Number 8 is a broken bear trap, which is
okay.
That's a fun one.
What would you do with it? Just like living room,
We
sort
will.
of like a display piece. It's like, oh yeah, I walked over this. No, you didn't. You bought it from a second-hand shop.
We will rebuild him, make him stronger, better than he's ever been before.
He is bear trap man. I'm stuck again.
I thought it was broken. Number 9 on this list is gift cards that they said aren't used, but most of them had the things on the back scratched off. I mean, surely you wouldn't take a gift card anyway, right? Regardless of whether the back was scratched off. Can you take a gift card? You'd have literally no proof that there's anything on it.
That's such a slimy move.
Yeah.
Because you could have pulled them off like the shelves in the store, or like you said, used them and then tried to trade them in for its value.
Yeah.
I'd have kicked that person right out.
Yeah, you can't buy a gift, like you can't. Surely not.
No,
like I feel like even a pawn shop wouldn't take those, like anything like that, right? Surely.
Some pretty shifty people.
Oh, you meant
not
like
a pawn shop, Jimmy.
I was just like
a pawnbrokers.
Right, yeah. Amongst all my dirty DVDs and dildos, like, I got some gift cards that I used.
Of course, that's where Jimmy's mind went. You're supposed to be the innocent friendship boy.
I've got some old gift cards for the 18+ section at Blockbuster.
That's oddly specific.
Just swipe to get thrown a beaded curtain there.
I'm going to finish this one off with number 10. It's just put so much underwear.
Oh no!
That's pretty gross. That's not
Why?
cool. Nowhere takes underwear. You can't even return underwear to like a normal shop. So why would you try and sell it to someone else? Unless it was like completely sealed, like unopened.
In a vacuum
How do
pack.
Yeah. Christ.
Just, oh man, that sucks.
People amaze me sometimes.
The way you read that as well, so that must happen on a like regular basis. Do you think they have a sign up that says no panties, please?
Well, I wonder if maybe they've either had lots of people come in and try and sell underwear, or someone came in to try and sell them a shit ton of underwear.
It's like, right, bear with me, I've just got to take a trip to the car. It's like 2 black sacks full of like underwear.
Where did you get all these from? Where have you been?
Oh, these are mine. I only wear them once.
Yeah, I don't wash them. I just buy new ones.
So I'll move on to the next one, which is in from D-Barn, which is this one's a bit of a longer one, so bear with. I once caught a customer being all shifty in the aisles where I worked in Australia. Shout out to JB Hi-Fi. And I assumed they were stealing something, so I walked around after them just to keep an eye out. It was a middle-aged lady with a pram, and oftentimes they would store things in the little carry bit underneath and stroll out without paying. So I figured, why not? Best to be on the safe side. Turns out she wasn't stealing something, but instead she was doing quite the opposite. She was making a deposit of sorts. Her spawn had decided it needed to bust a grumpy brown note and be in the shining example of a parent just tucked the nappy under one of the shelves. Hence why she was being a little sus when I sort of caught her. However, because I didn't see her do it, I had no idea it was there. And so come closing time, I'm refilling the shelves and putting up blanks. You put blank cases up behind the game cases to make the shelves look more full. As I reached down to get a box, I grabbed hold of a still warm nappy, soiled to the point it kind of bled out a bit as I grabbed it. Needless to say, I vomited in my mouth a bit. People just do stuff sometimes, don't they? It just blows my mind how people think stuff like that is okay. People do things that, in my head, I'm like, I would never once think that's fine.
Just rise.
Speaking of having human waste on you, you've all worked at a cinema. Have you ever had something that's been inside a human on your body, on your person?
Excluding vomit or including vomit? I've cleaned up my fair share of vomit. And unfortunately, a used condom, that was the worst of it, I think, for me.
Oh, that's pretty
nasty.
nasty.
Had to get out the human fluids kit for that one. Pick that up with the little clippy tongs.
Oh yeah, they had their own special kit for it.
It's furious.
You got like the little mini hazmat suit and everything with those. They were great.
Remember
sprinkle that powder on the floor and then it just clog up into this weird solid.
Oh yeah, it turned into a jelly, wouldn't
I
it?
needed to scoop it up because the jelly wouldn't lift any other way. Couldn't like blue roll it and then just like dump it in a bag. You had to like actually shovel it off the ground.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, you've all cleaned sick. Have you cleaned anything else?
I know
I feel like I know where this is going and I feel like I know exactly what happened as well.
Well, no, there are plenty of stories where someone has done something and it's had to be cleaned up by someone. Luckily, not me. But my particular story, when I was cleaning up, we have screen 12 was the biggest screen there, and I think it shown something like a Fast and Furious film had been on. Don't know why this is important, but it was one of the back row. I was just cleaning up drinks. They looked like what seemed to be a full drink of it was like what were they called? The ice drinks?
Oh, the Tango Ice Blast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a greenish colour, which at the time seemed odd because I don't remember selling any green flavour. But I picked it up and I grabbed it with some force because I was cleaning it up and whatever was in it spilled over the top onto my hand and I smelt it. It was piss.
Nice.
Very, very dehydrated, green-coloured piss.
It sounds like they only drink Monster Energy and that's what's coming back out.
Yeah. I mean, for a short while, I thought, maybe when it melts, the blue one goes into this green colour. I'm not sure. Or actually, now I'm thinking about it more. They probably peed into what was left of the blue stuff and it mixed into green.
Oh, I don't know what that reminded me of when I was cabin crew, and when the plane lands and the crew stand at the front and we're like, oh thanks, see you later, bye bye, and all that good stuff. Someone handed me a bag, and I didn't think anything of it, and it was a sick bag that he had just used, and he gave it to me. That was like,
thanks, mate.
Get off my plane. I was so angry. They could just like left it on the seat or something.
He was just being nice. Giving a gift to a stranger. Paying it forward.
I was like, oh my god. I could have like caught something, that's just completely stupid.
Complimentary sick bags, the best bit about flying.
Make sure you keep them. You don't get many.
Exactly. Free blanket and free sick bag.
Those blankets are gross.
I'm not a fool.
Although, if you're in business class, it's like dry clean duvets. So you can try steal one, but they're really big.
I'm pretty sure the ones that we usually get whenever we've flown with Virgin, they're all sealed, and that you keep those. And I always intend to keep them for myself, but they usually make it to the end of the holiday, and then when I'm packing everything up, they end up in the bin.
You take them off the plane? I've never taken them off.
Yeah.
Joe books holidays just to keep the sit bags.
It's like, if it's not nailed down, it's coming with me. It's just like going into the galley, pulling out all the metal canisters. It's like, it's not nailed down. It's mine now. You can hear it's the cutlery just smashing inside.
This suggests it's free to take. What do they expect?
I think we should listen to our final retail story. The one from SensitiveJoy.
Nice.
I think we should give this a listen and then we'll break it down afterwards.
Sounds good to me.
I was working for Urban Outfitters. This was back in like 2008, and we were expecting a visit from our district manager, and so we had to do a thorough cleaning of the all the different areas in the store. But we were in the fitting rooms, and our particular Urban Outfitters was a very like industrial one. So there were like lots of ducts that you could see, like really high ceilings, lots of really funky architecture. Anyway, so we had to use a ladder to get above the fitting rooms to kind of like dust it and clean it and make sure there was no merchandise or anything up there. And we found a sock. And the sock seemed like it was like kind of heavy. You can tell it had been there a while. It was covered in dust. And somebody just like threw it down and didn't think anything of it. They were like, this is gross. Like there's probably a dead mouse or something inside. So I threw it down on the ground, and someone's dusting the rest of the top of the fitting rooms. And then, you know, they're all done. They come down from the ladder and they go to clean up, and they realize when they pick up the sock that it kind of smells a little bit. And so they like pry it open and find out that there's like a massive shit inside the sock. So someone, I guess, in the fitting room had decided that they were going to use one of our socks, shit in it, and then throw it above our fitting room.
So wait, it was one from the shop that they'd got off the shelf to take a shit in.
That's
Nice.
incredible.
Brilliant. I mean, it is funny and it isn't funny, but it is still very funny.
It is funny. Because they had no evidence that there was shit anywhere else apart from in the sock. They were like, hold to sock the bumhole releasing. It was a really good aim.
They get it in the sock.
They must have had to pry it open somehow,
The bum
right?
of the
It
sock.
must be really stretchy. There are not the
There
bum.
are so many questions.
How did they
I have
reach
so
up?
many questions.
Did they throw it?
It's just like, was the poo put in the sock before entering the store, or did they enter the store, go to the bathroom, and do it there, and then
She said it's
chuck
in
it
the
up
fitting
there?
rooms.
Like,
Well, didn't she
what
say?
was the order of events?
Didn't she say the sock was from her
Yeah.
store? So it must have been in store. They did it, like probably in the
maybe.
fitting room.
You think it was like done on a dare, maybe? Like, oh, a day to go into Urban Outfitters, nick a pair of socks, shit in one, and throw it on top of the ducks. Can you imagine as well, like the person doing
Top
that
class
was just
dare,
like,
though.
because she said like they had to be up on a ladder to clean the ducks. So the person must have thrown it. Do you think? How many times do you think they had to throw the shit-filled sock up into the air and hope it doesn't land on there?
Yeah, that's sort of a good point. Like, it must have taken a few attempts. There's no way you do that thing first time. Like, you can't.
I can't imagine it's that high. I imagine if it was just not far above the fitting room height. I'm guessing. But they must have tied it up at the end so it doesn't come out, right?
I don't know. We need more
We
explanation.
need pictures of the sock, please no.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this story.
Top quality though. That is fantastic.
I think we were asked by Glenn as well, who we used to work with, for me to share the story of our experience on New Year's Day
Go for it.
one year. Working on New Year's Day early in the morning is never a fun experience anyway, because you're always usually hungover. And I can't imagine I was in the best of states that morning. So I was probably a bit delirious, because I remember thinking, what have I just witnessed? This can't have been true. Someone's winding me up. But we were both stood behind the concession stands, and this kid, probably about, I don't know, I'll say 8, 9 or 10, that kind of age, maybe even younger actually, came up to the front with a really strong Cockney accent, and he just goes, "How much are your drinks then?" I think, well, we told him, I can't remember what they were, like this much for a medium, this much for a large, and he just went, "Cheers, mate," did the whole thumbs up, wink kind of thing, turned around and left.
What a legend.
Glenn and I both looked at each other and said, did we just imagine the same thing? Or was that real?
You guys are so hungover that you had a shared hallucination.
Quite likely. I remember bursting out laughing after it kind of sunk in that it happened. But yeah, what an experience.
Maybe you had some out-of-body experience. You both ended up in 1950s London for like a short amount of time.
Possibly. But the kid was so stereotypical,
chimney sweep
sort
English.
of Del Boy-esque young boy. His mannerisms and everything. Like, even did the whole "cheers, mate" and thumb across the body kind of thing. Thumbs up, big smile on face. I don't know. It just didn't seem real.
I've only got a tuppence.
Maybe this was a dare too, and he'd just come out of Urban Outfitters.
Maybe. Just taking a
Straight
shit.
from Urban Outfitters all the way to central England to ask for a drink price. He probably has one of the most popular YouTube channels.
It's possible, that's all I'm saying.
Lucky bugger.
Maybe.
Man, I wish I was there for that. It sounds incredible.
Speaking of being lucky buggers, wins of the week, boys.
Dun dun dun. Just trying to get the thing up because I forgot what mine was. Hello!
Dun, dun, dun. I can kick this one off. Why the hell not?
Go
While
on,
you're
I'm here.
faffing. I had a week off this week. It
Nice.
was excellent. I had time off work for
Yes.
the first time since
God, Jamie.
October. Yes! Thank
Go on,
you.
son.
Jamie texts his boss,
Thank
said,
you.
"Can I have a week off? That'd be pretty PogChamp, thanks."
He replied, "Sure you can, Kappa," and then I took it seriously.
So how was your week off then? What did you get up to?
It was excellent. Honestly, not much. I just wanted a little mental break, really. So I'd taken like a little bit of time off for mine and Teagues' birthday in October, but then before that, I don't think I'd had some booked off in, I think, late March, early April last year. We were supposed to be going to Sweden, and obviously stuff happened, so we couldn't go. And I did take that time off anyway, but I ended up being like ill for most of it anyway. So I kind of had time off, but didn't really have time off.
Lame.
So yeah, I don't know if it was food poisoning or something. I had something and it was not cool. And then I was just like, I've got so much holiday to burn. I should really take some off. But I was in the middle of some projects and was like, I tell you what, I'll do it because my holiday refreshes in the tax year does in April. So I was like, I might as well get it out right towards the end. So it was really nice to just have a bit of time off. Bought myself an Oculus Quest 2.
Nice.
Which, because I've really wanted a VR headset for a while, like a proper one, because the PSVR one has now almost become redundant when you don't have a PS5. And it's not like I'm going to be able to get a PS5 anytime soon because they're impossible to get. So yeah, I've been pissing around with that. Hopefully we'll get some VR streams in real soon once I've like got it all set up, because I haven't done that yet. I've been playing it in the living room, but I haven't got it set up with the PC yet to be able to stream with it. But fingers crossed, we'll be able to do that soon. So that's pretty good. Been playing some like VR escape room games on it, because we haven't been able to play escape rooms in Yonkers, and we love them. So we're like drilling through a bunch of like indie escape room games on VR. Eventually, I'll get Beat Saber.
Yeah, the ones you've been playing, the escape room games, are they
Yeah.
actually good, or are they ridiculously hard like the one we played on the PlayStation?
It's not like 18 Floors. 18 Floors is ridiculous. But no, these ones have been like achievable. We've like completed them in like an hour or two.
Okay.
Some of them have been a little bit like meh, but other ones have been like really, really good. Like Abode 1 and 2 are fantastic. Would recommend. They're quite cheap. You can buy them as a bundle. They were on sale when I bought them, which was only the other day. So they might still be when
Shout
you're
out
listening
to
to this.
developers of
Maybe,
Abode.
don't know. Find out. Yeah, really, really cool. I played another one as well, which I would actually love to do a shout out for multiple reasons. So there's a company called, I think they're called Fireproof Games, and they are a small independent games company in
nice.
Guildford, which is not far from me. and they'd made some kind of normal escape room games. I think it's just called The Room. I think they were just called like The Room, and then with like a subtitle afterwards. And I think the one we played was The Room, A Dark Matter, I think it was called. But they had remade it for VR. So I bought it and I played it, and it is by far like the best puzzle game I think I've ever played, bar Portal. It was so good. Everything about it was incredible, and I would highly recommend it. Yeah, it was, all the puzzles were so unique and clever and like weren't too obscure at the same time. It was like this perfect balance of like difficulty and like logic, and the story was great despite the fact there was barely any actual dialogue. It was all kind of like, all the story was handed to you through these like floating little letters that you kept finding, and the whole thing was just a very pleasing game from start to finish, and I absolutely loved it. So shout out to you guys, doing top work over there in Guildford, UK. Keep at it. Please remake one of your other games for VR, because I will buy it immediately.
Guaranteed money from Jamie and Jamie only.
Number one customer.
We spent £50,000 remaking this, Jamie. How much do you want to buy it for? I got £6. How much are your drinks? You'll just say.
How much are your drinks then?
How much for the VR then, eh? Cheers, mate.
I did fully 100% expect that kid to start haggling, but he didn't. He just left.
You were prepared. When so podcast exclusive then, if you're going to stream VR games, do you have an idea what you'd like to play?
Not a clue. I was thinking maybe a horror game, maybe, but I'm not sure yet. Would need to find a good one for VR that's not Resident Evil 7, because I think my PC would actually just commit seppuku if I tried to do that and stream at the same time. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I have to find something that would be streamable.
I have also been meaning to do VR streams, just getting my act together to actually set it up so that I can read chat whilst in the VR. Because there's been loads of days where I've been like, oh, I fancy streaming VR today. Oh, I haven't set it up. I'll do it next week in prep for the following week. And it just never happens.
Setting it up is a slug. That's the only problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had mine for a fair few months now, and I just never get round to it. Whenever I think about doing it, I just don't have the time.
There's plenty of mods now, aren't there, that will let you just sort of have a floating Twitch chat in front of you, so you can keep an eye on who's saying what.
Yeah, but there's setting that up that's a bit of a faff.
It's better now, isn't it?
Probably. I don't know.
We'd know if we'd given it a go.
Yeah. I know it was a faff when I first looked into it, because, yeah, it was fairly new.
Fair enough. Right. Joe, what's your sexual win of the week?
My one's short and sweet.
Thank you.
And I had a roast dinner. And before you say anything, this isn't just a regular roast dinner. This is a midweek roast dinner.
What are you
I
doing?
know. Crazy.
It's not
Blasphemy.
Sunday.
I know. And how, like, I can hear your questions coming through my mind. How the hell did you have enough time to do this during the week after work? Well, I'll tell you.
Go on.
I bought a roast chicken in the bag chicken. I don't know what they're called. Roast in the bag, chicken in a bag, yeah. From Lidl. And just an hour and 55 minutes in the oven. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to season it. It already has stuffing wedged inside. Lovely.
Up the crevasse.
Already sage and onion it was. Lovely.
Joe doesn't stuff his stuffing in. He wedges it.
Comes in from the side and just bang.
I couldn't say stuffed because I've already used the word stuff in the word stuffing. So stuffing would be... there's only so many stuffing times you can say stuffing.
Welcome to Stuff Stuffing. We're going to talk about stuffing today. Joe, what's your favourite stuffing?
Sage and onion.
All right, Jamie, what's your favourite stuffing? Thank you for your stuffing.
Classic sage and onion. I don't actually know what any other stuffings are apart from sage and onion. Do other ones exist?
I don't know. This has been Stuff Stuffings. Thank you very much for tuning in to Stuff Stuffings.
Get your Coast to Coast Coasters over at J3 channel.
Nice.
Yeah,
Coast to Coast Coasters.
We should totally make coasters one day. Got to live up to the promise.
That video where we first spoke about it isn't even live anymore. But yes, we've got to live up to that promise.
To be fair, it would make sense to make coasters, seeing that we have a mug in our merch store, and we could complement the mug with a Coast to Coast coaster.
We sure can.
All right, merch version 2 incoming. Just coasters.
Just delete everything. Just coasters.
Just coasters.
Just coasters.
50
Who wants a shirt anymore?
Who wears clothes?
How is like a hoodie useful nowadays? Coasters are where it's at.
When we're allowed to get together again, we should all go like on a road trip around the edge of Britain and take a bunch of pictures at different coasts and make some coasters out of it.
But not good quality like landscape pictures with a decent camera. We're just talking about old
terrible ones.
Yeah, like old school Nokia phone camera level.
Get your old Sagem out.
I was going to say like the
PSP camera.
Nice. I was about the Game Boy camera.
Oh yeah, even better. That trumps my idea. Sold. And then we'll sell the prints for thousands to Cood's shop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds good.
What's your win of the week, Jim?
In an effort to want to play more games and incorporate fitness with it, I bought the Ring Fit finally. And because
Nice.
I have no self-control, I also bought Mario 3D World. So it's been
And signed up for a loot crate.
And so I haven't done that, unfortunately. I'll do it if Loot Crate pay for it. Just saying, Loot Crate, hook me up. At J3
It's not a very good
channel on
business
Twitter,
venture,
DM
bye.
us, boys. I'll sell whatever you give me. Yeah, so I've been playing through those. Me and Jodie have been playing Mario 3D World together, and it's an absolute pleasure to play through that game. It's the right like amount of difficulty for a platformer for like beginners and like people who've a bit more experience, like myself, pro gamer, and Ring Fit's just kind of cool as well. It's like a sorry, Joe just dabbed on the camera, derailed me.
You did.
Um,
I never see that.
And the Ring Fit's like a good workout. There's like 4 levels of difficulty, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not in shape. I'm not like bad at exercise. I'll put it on like the second hardest difficulty. And that same session, I did like 65, 66 squats amongst all the other exercise, and I was just like wiped out for the next day. The game is actual pain if you have it set highly, but I'm loving it. It's great fun. Gamifying exercise is the way forward.
Nice. And that
Gamifying anything.
ring that it comes with can
Yeah.
essentially work as weights, can't it? It has good resistance behind it.
It's got a huge amount of resistance behind it.
It's a pretty well-made band, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how, like, because I think about, like, how it works. Because, like, when you squeeze it in, the controller knows, like, how much you're squeezing, and it has, like, a threshold until, like, it's, like, quote-unquote 100% squeeze, if you will. And you can, like, do the same by pulling it out, and it knows. And I, like, wonder how they developed that and, like, developed it to, like, survive wear and tear for a long time. Like, what's it made out of? Tell me your secrets, Nintendo.
And how does it know that someone like Eddie Hall wouldn't just come over and rip it to shreds?
Oh, I think he's the anomaly. He doesn't count for the research.
Right, gotcha.
Can you imagine he's just
Eddie
like,
Hall,
oh,
this
that
isn't
looks
for
fun.
you.
I'd like to have a go. Oh, I broke it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like the size of his hand, though. He's so giant. You would
He's huge.
Just crush it.
I'd love to high five Eddie Hall and run away immediately because my arm's broken.
Me too.
Is he Britain's strongest man?
He was the world's strongest man.
Ooh.
Yeah,
The world's strongest man.
yeah. At one stage, he did
Nice.
win world's strongest
You
man.
got up there.
Oh, was he the guy who did the weightlifting and like his nose exploded with blood because he put so much pressure on his brain? He was doing the
He's
heaviest
done that a
deadlift
few
or something.
times. He's got the deadlift world. Well, up until very recently, he had the deadlift world record. Yeah, and I think it made his nose bleed when he did it.
What is the record for that?
Well, his record was 1/2 ton, so 500 kilos,
Fucking hell.
and the mountain beat it last year, 2020, during lockdown to 501.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like in a competition setting. It wasn't. So I don't know if it's
okay.
legit.
It's
There's
not an
just someone
official
recording it
recording.
on his phone. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because Eddie Hall like does most of his stuff televised, I suppose. Whereas the
Yeah,
mountain's
it
got-
was in an arena when Eddie Hall did it.
I can't wait for you to beat it, Joe. 502. 501 and 100 grams on top.
It'll take me no time. Easy peasy.
Got this covered.
Speaking of world records,
Go on.
this Pringles thing, I feel like we need to address it.
Oh, I'm trying that tomorrow. I've
You do it tomorrow?
I've got the tube. It's ready.
When you're listening to this, Jimmy would have already done it.
Yeah,
Oh,
put
yeah,
a
that's
clip up
true.
somewhere.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
We found out recently that apparently the record for eating an entire tube of ready salted Pringles is 5 minutes.
I thought 6 minutes.
And
6 is what I heard.
was it
as well.
6?
Yeah.
Oh, apology. It's 5 or 6 minutes, possibly 6 minutes. And I was like, that sounds like easy. It does.
It does sound easy.
If you're listening right now, answer that question in your head. Does it sound easy? Do you think you could eat an entire tube of Pringles in 6 minutes? Because to me, it
Ready
sounds
salted.
piss easy.
Has
but
to be. Can't be any other
yeah,
flavour.
it has to be ready salted.
To me, it sounded
feel like-
No
initially
water.
easy, but it sounded easy.
Oh yeah, no water.
To begin with, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, actually, there are loads of Pringles in a Pringles can.
Yeah.
Like a deceptively large amount in there.
It's
So I thought,
200 grams of salty, dry good times.
Salty dry good times.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And our friend Jane Nastics, tried it. And she was like, oh, I could do it easy. She had the same like approach that we have. And then she was just like, because it's like so salty and so dry, it immediately just like clags up. And that's the bit, like, I had a bag of crisps the same day and I was just like, I could eat a whole tube of Pringles in 6 minutes. And then I was eating the crisps and I was trying to eat them quickly to test it. I was like, this is actually kind of hard. So my hubris may be flattened tomorrow. I like to think I could do it under 10 minutes, but I guess we'll see. Apparently the average is about 11.
How long did it take her?
19 minutes, I think
19.
she's...
19 minutes.
I think
Yeah.
she said it really
My
actually
lordy.
started making her jaw ache as well. That's another thing you've got to contend with.
Yeah.
It's the amount of chewing.
Don't know where this has
I
come
don't know.
from.
I've done plenty of chewing in my time.
Oi.
I've had a lot of practice. Been doing it my whole life, mate.
Yeah, you can't have a glass of water either. Like, because obviously I was just like, if I had water, I'd just chew and wash it down and I'll be done in like a minute. But no, yeah. Apparently the timer, you can pop the lid and have the foil open. And then the timer starts like whenever, I don't know, whoever's starting it. And then you can shove your hand in the tube. So you can't even like give yourself a second head start or whatever.
If it involves the tube itself also, that makes it more difficult, especially if you've got big hands.
Yeah.
Because you have like a time penalty with being able to get your hand in the damn thing.
As you said, there's no crumbs at the bottom either. You gotta eat them too.
And you can't just pour it in your mouth, can you? Or do you have to grab them out?
I don't know.
I assume you can
The
pour them,
technique is
surely.
your own, I suppose. You
Oh,
could just
that's
like,
all right then.
like you said, smash the Pringles, but they have to stay as full as possible. So you could be wasting like a couple of minutes trying to get that fine Pringle powder. Fist in the tube.
eat it and snort it. all holes.
6 minutes to snort 200 grams of Pringles. Let's go.
The record is just to consume it. It doesn't say eat specifically.
You might get minor brain damage, but that's okay because you're a world record holder, baby.
It just needs
It'll
to
go down in
be
history.
inside an orifice of some kind.
So what you're saying is I can butt chug it?
Well,
As
according
long as
to
it gets
these rules
digested at some point.
that
I
we're
guess
currently
so.
making. Yeah.
Would it-
The Pringles need to end up inside you one way or another.
Look, either way, whether it's going in your mouth or going in your ass, it will come back out your ass at some point.
Joe's chat up line.
Yeah. Lucky ladies.
No matter where it goes in, it's coming out your ass.
So
Family-friendly content here at J3.
So do I cut this
Yep.
bit or?
Absolutely not. It stays in.
Do whatever
Alright.
you like, Jimmy. But we'll let you take the repercussions if someone comes knocking. I don't know who would, but someone's coming knocking.
Oi,
Someone
you
comes-
talking about booty love again? How many times have I told you no butt sex on my podcast? Sorry, Jay Freecard, I'm sorry. I don't know why he's got that kind of voice, but he does now.
What? Jimmy's voice?
No, the or you like geezer sort of voice.
Just sound like a slightly geezered version of Jimmy.
Slightly
I'm not
geezer.
very good
It's
at
drunk
voices.
Jimmy, that's what it is.
I just love more loving all the time.
You do Marge's voice pretty well, quite frequently.
You mean Toad's voice? Just
Yeah.
badder. They're not far.
Toad's voice just bad. I love it.
The posts aren't for you. Well, they're not far apart from each other, to be fair. As long as you can do this voice, you can sort of fuck it around in pitch to get the Marge or Toad wherever you're going.
The Marjorie tone.
Do Simpsons Fan Theory. Marge is Toad. What are you going to do about that?
That's what's under his hat.
Checkmate, atheists. It's under his hat. It's just blue
What
hair.
Why is it so giant and round? It must be to contain all of that blue hair.
I like the idea that maybe her head just is also that long.
So it cuts her hair and it's just like, what's the move? There's a movie like that where they have cone heads. Is it just called Cone Heads?
I think it might be just cone. Yeah, I think it is just cone heads. Yeah.
New Fan Theory. Again, Marge is a cone head. Checkmate, atheists. Again.
Marge's hair is actually just really short. She just has a proper long skull.
The brain's at the bottom as well. It's just all liquid.
You'd be wicked at a rock concert. Imagine headbanging with that thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
You want to stay away from that. It's immediate injury.
Yeah. That is swinging around a blunt object with force.
It's going to hurt more as well because it's got the length, so it creates more force. So physics works, right? Along with the object, the more force it has.
You've nailed it.
There you go.
You'll need a proper strong neck to go with that head. Like Corey Taylor level neck.
If a Marge falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, is she actually Toad? If you're watching this on YouTube or an Anchor, make sure you leave a comment and let us know the answer, please.
And
while we're at this strange junction, we should probably move on to podcast question because once again we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are.
Go for it.
Always do.
Bringing it down to more of a humble tone now. We've had sock poop. We've had the wins of the week. We've had winning the lottery and talking about that way longer than we planned.
That was just supposed to be a silly beginning question.
Yeah, that was actually a really good question. I really enjoyed that one. But the podcast question is from Nerdmeyer? Meyer? And he says, do we think we have grown as people during the pandemic? Which is a really good question, a really good chance to self-reflection. I don't know if you want to keep it in the scope of J3 or if you'd like to keep it as your own personal development, if you had used the time to sort of get to know yourself better. It's up to you.
The way he's worded it is, have you grown as people?
Yeah.
So I guess, well, it can encompass everything, but I imagine a bit more personal.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to go first, or
I can try and delve into it. And the truth is, I don't really know. I know, obviously, this has probably happened for a lot of people. Anxiety is currently through the roof. So the time to kind of sit and reflect on myself is not really there. Don't really have enough time to think. I'm sure I have changed. I'm sure streaming has changed me. And I'm sure working under the circumstances that I have been working under has changed me. In terms of, have I grown from it? I'm sure when I come out the other side, I'll be a hell of a lot more grateful for what's good and everything we take for granted. I'm pretty sure most people are going to come up with a similar answer to that, but I'm going to definitely take things more for granted now. Otherwise, I wouldn't say...
granted.
What's that?
You said more things are granted. Do you mean less things are granted?
Yeah, that. I'm more likely to take things less for granted.
More likely to take your time to smell the flowers, appreciate the finer things. Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yeah, pretty much. As far as my reflection goes, that pretty much covers it. I think I'd have to put more thought into it if I want a more in-depth answer, but for now, that's my answer.
To be honest, that's a good answer. You were honest. I was expecting us all to be like, oh yeah, here's X, Y, and Z. But no, I appreciate sort of bearing your soul a little bit to say that maybe, the pandemic has made you more anxious. And like you said, most people are probably feeling that from the strain of pressure from work. And, we're taking on these crazy projects on top of that to sort of not give us any free time to sort of relax. And yeah, I appreciate the openness of it.
I think it's I'm going to make more of an effort to speak to people more often after it's all over, when I actually can, and go to not even necessarily meet up with people, but just a phone call here and there. We don't do phone calls because we're boomers, but we're maybe start doing it a bit more often.
No, we're millennials.
Millennials, yeah, that's that one.
If we're boomers, we'd be loaded. They have a house by now.
Yeah, and phone calls would come naturally.
Exactly.
You got what I was on about.
I do. I think I would say I have grown, but I guess reflecting what Joe said, in a way that I probably haven't seen until after it's all over, and then the things that I used to take for granted I can then sort of appreciate more. Has J3 sort of improved my confidence and things like being on camera and public speaking? Hell yeah, it has. But at the same time, like, I did like fall the slippery slope of an online presence of always being online, and my home life suffered for that. So, you know, it's taught me to sort of balance life a bit more. A thing that my granddad used to always say, and it's something that I carry with me like every day, is just like try to keep life simple. And I let my life get too complicated, and I was trying to balance it in such silly ways. So I think I've grown in a way that it's allowed me to sort of take that advice a bit better. And when it's all over and when we are able to sort of see each other, and coronavirus is a thing in the past, maybe I can look back at it more and then, you know, develop myself from there, see the mistakes that I'm probably still making now and be like, oh, what was I doing that for? And then, you know, continue to grow, because we never really do stop developing as people.
Nice answer. That was, very well said.
What about you, Jamie? If you're okay to talk about this, of course. I don't mind if you're... Yeah.
I just wish I had more input on your one, but it pretty much covered. You pretty much covered it all there yourself.
Yeah, you did really well at like covering everything that I would have asked. You just said it. I think in some ways I have improved, but in other ways it has actually made me worse. And I would completely agree with Jimmy's point on, like, it's helped me realize that balancing my time is important. That quite a lot before the pandemic happened, I was busy all the time. I was always doing social stuff. I never really put any time aside for myself. And despite obviously how much the coronavirus has affected everything, it has helped me to realize, like, to put time aside for me, and not just for me, but also for Tegan and my family. Obviously, I haven't really been able to see them, so I haven't been able to put time aside for them, but it's made me realize that once all this is over and done with, it's important and I should do it and make more of an effort to, like, spend some time with my loved ones and not try and make myself so busy all the time that I kind of forget everything else, which is kind of what I was doing before. I was, like, almost burying my problems in just never giving myself time to think about them, whereas now it's helped me deal with anything else that's going on by just having a little bit of time to reflect and, like, have a think and let my feelings out through whatever mediums I choose. Like, sometimes I just get my stress out through playing games. It's a nice outlet for me. I can shout at Sekiro all I want and not feel bad about it. On the other hand, I have actually gotten worse with communicating, and especially with my family. Like, right at the beginning of lockdown, everyone was doing, like, the family quizzes, like, over Zoom and stuff. That died out quite quickly. Like, it was a big, like, everyone was coming up with these ideas of stuff to do over Zoom, and it was like, yeah, let's do that. It'd be great. We'll do it every week. And then it just kind of dropped off quite quickly. And then, like, myself and my family kind of almost stopped, not, like, completely stopped talking, but we really didn't talk very much afterwards. And it made me kind of think, like, I've gotten worse at talking to people. I should really, like, be finding out if people are okay and making sure that everyone else is dealing well with this. But I kind of, like, I kind of want to say forgot, but it's not forgot. It was more just, you know, so much was happening that I didn't think about it and that I should have. So, yeah, I think in some ways I have improved a bit, but in other ways I've still now got more stuff to work on the things that I've gotten worse at, I suppose. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Agree with that. I would jump off as well and say that I've also fallen into the being bad at communicating with my family that's away from me sort of side of things. It is easy to fall in that trap of, like, making yourself so busy that you almost, like, justify your behavior, but be like, oh, I can't do this right now because I've got to do something else. Well, that's how I do it. I'm not saying that you are, but
no, I also make excuses for myself.
Yeah,
like, you get a text from someone and you're just like, oh, I'm too busy for that. I'll do it
really
later,
bad
and then
about
you
it,
just don't.
Like...
And it's not out of spite. You just forget. Yeah.
It's like, but I like talking to these people, so why am I, like, doing this? Like, a lot of people will have this issue. I know that whenever I speak to people in person, which is very rare nowadays, I find it difficult. I find the right time to jump into a conversation or, like, to, give my thoughts or reply. I find it, like, hard to find the right time to talk, or, like, I'll accidentally interrupt someone or overlap them. And I think it's just
we do it quite a lot in the podcast.
it's hard. It can be forgiven on an online medium, I suppose, because it is harder to tell. But in person, like, you obviously got like social cues and like the body language you can jump off.
It's gonna be tricky. I think a lot of people haven't been in contact with their families, the general public, nowhere near as much as they used to back before lockdown. Everyone's social skills are going to have dropped to some extent, I reckon, and we're all going to have to figure out together a way to get it back to the way it was. Like, we're all going to have to go at our own pace.
It's going to be a shitty time.
Yeah, well, especially me. I feel like I'm going to be more awkward around friends and family than I was before, but it's just going to be one of those things. You'll get back used to it again. It'll be fine, and before you know it, it'll just be like old times. But there is going to be that awkward transition period, I reckon, where it's not going to be as easy as it once was.
Oh man, it's going to suck. But hey, we got to get through it. Like you said, it'll be such a blip in our timeline. Obviously, it's all to come, but it'll be like, in our minds, like, I don't know, 10 years down the line, it'll be like coronavirus, normal life, but actually it's going to be like coronavirus adjusting to talking to people and being outside again, and then normal life. But that transition bit, like I said, it'll go like that. There's Jamie's snappy snap earlier, but that
in the grand scheme of things, it'll be quick. Probably won't feel quick at the time, but
oh god, no.
The coronavirus it feels like a massive long period of our life, but actually once it's over and then
so
years
long,
have gone by, it's only a small stint.
Feels so long and so quick at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's been a year already versus holy crap,
it has gone super slowly, but also very quickly at the same time. It's a very strange, like, limbo to be in.
A lot of nothing, yet so much has happened during this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess weird. If you're going to take anything from this podcast question, I guess it would be, I don't know, send a text. Like, obviously you don't have to call anyone if you are a busy person. Send a text to your mum, just check in, make sure they're okay, or a loved one.
Yeah.
Just one person.
Just don't forget about your loved ones, I guess.
Funny you should say that. For the first time since probably May last year, I picked up. Did you guys ever get that house party app?
No.
It's kind of.
No, I don't think I did.
No, it's just like a Zoom chat on your phone type of thing, but it's just really quick and easy to set up. You just call someone in your contacts, and then it's a FaceTime. But then you can play games on it as well, like Pictionary and that kind of thing. And the heads up, heads down game you can play remotely as well.
Oh, I love that game. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Did you do that recently? Did you?
Yeah, like about maybe a week or two ago.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
With my mum and my sister.
It means I should probably give my mum a call soon. It's actually been about a couple of weeks now. She tells me off every time. It's like, oh, I thought you died. No, mum, I'm fine. I'm sorry.
I hate it when they use that one.
Oh man, I'm so bad. I try to call my grandma more as well, because she is on her own now, and I that's difficult as well. I don't know why. I just suck at calling people. Well, anyway.
Well, yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. But before we go, we should definitely give ourselves a cheeky plug at the end. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/J3 channel. We're on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/J3 channel. We have all of our social medias, which are Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is at J3_channel, and Instagram is J3 channel. And we've also got a merch store, which is...
Oh, it's not. It was just a delayed one for the Twitter, sorry.
I understand. But sometimes these things cause a delayed reaction.
Edit it in post.
So yeah, we'd appreciate if you check out any of those mediums there.
What was there? Sorry, I interrupted you when you were about to say the merch store. Where was that one at?
Oh, God knows. It's on Teespring, but I can never remember the actual URL. It's too long. But it is, you can find... You can
URL's
find,
changed as well. I don't even know the new one.
You can find the details on our Twitch page.
Found
Just type in Teespring J3 channel. We'll come up.
The J3 store. Or click on the solo link that's in this podcast.
Rolls off the tongue.
Solo.to/J3 channel. All on there.
Yeah. That will give you all of the different links to our various platforms.
And our last 8 episodes of the podcast. Yeah.
You can enjoy us more.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my God. Episode 10 next time.
Episode 9, baby. Season 1 ends episode 10. Yeah. This isn't a promise that we've made. I'd just like to say
appreciate y'all for listening.
Sorry, I just started the conversation again. Right, let's go. Let's do this.
Bye, guys.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Goodbye.
Love you all more, as always.
Of course.
Goodbye. Oh, we're wiggling. You can't see it, but we're wiggling. Because we can't help ourselves.
Jamie, that's not your
When we're
hand.
together, we say goodbye. Even when we're just being friends.
Oh my god.